Lil Durk's first night in prison wasn't just a personal turning point. It symbolized the unraveling of a legacy built on loyalty, resilience, and fame, facing federal murder for higher charges. The Chicago rap icon found himself trapped in a system that now scrutinized his every move, from alleged betrayals within his Only the Family OTF collective to the broader implications for drill music. His incarceration has shaken the foundation of his career and the genre he helped define. Lil Durk, facing danger in prison. The clank of the heavy steel door echoed through the dimly lit corridor as Lil Durk was led to his cell. The rapper-born Durk Banks wasn't just another inmate being processed through Broward County's notorious jail system. He was a man whose entire world had just crumbled in a matter of hours. His first night in prison wasn't just a moment of isolation. It was a harsh reality check that showed how quickly everything he had built, his reputation, his career, his very life, was at risk. Durk's arrest on federal murder for higher charges had already sent shockwaves through the music industry and the streets alike. For years, he'd been celebrated as the voice of Chicago, a beacon of hope for those trying to escape the cycle of violence. But now the walls were closing in, and his first night behind bars would set the tone for a storm that threatened to unravel everything. Broward County Jail is no place for the faint-hearted. It's a system plagued by neglect and danger, where survival often depends on alliances and reputation. The news of Durk's arrest had spread like wildfire, and as he entered the facility, the weight of his fame became a double-edged sword. Durk refused protective custody, opting instead to join the general population. For many, this was a bold move, a statement that he wasn't looking for special treatment. But for Durk, it was also a gamble in the main line. There's no barrier between you and the wolves, and a name as big as his can quickly make you a target. The rapper, every move was being watched. Inmates whispered about the charges, allegations that he had placed a bounty on Quando Rondo's life in retaliation for the 2020 murder of King Vo, Durk's close friend and Only the Family OTF affiliate. To some, it was a power play; to others, it was another tragic chapter in a cycle of revenge. Either way, Durk's presence in the jail wasn't just another headline. It was a potential powder keg waiting to explode. Just weeks earlier, Durk was being celebrated as a hometown hero. He had received an honorary key to the village of Broadview for his philanthropic efforts through his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation. His work had earned him praise from community leaders, and even Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who had personally met with him to discuss uplifting the city's youth. But on that first night in prison, none of that mattered. The accolades, the respect, the hard-earned image of a man trying to turn his life around, it all felt distant and fragile. Broadview's mayor wasted no time revoking the key to the city, citing the arrest as a violation of the community's moral and ethical standards. It was a public and humiliating rejection of the very image Durk had spent years crafting. Even Mayor Johnson, who had received a $150 Zuru campaign donation from Durk's company, faced mounting pressure to return the money.
If I should make a judgment on a black man before a full trial has actually come to fruition, I hope you do understand why it is not my position to determine the outcome of someone's life.
Suddenly, the rapper's reputation wasn't just his own. It was a liability for anyone who had stood by him. Durk's decision to stay in the general population came with risks that extended far beyond the cell walls. Broward County's jails have a grim reputation. 21 inmates have died in custody since 2021. According to reports, activists like the NAACP have condemned the system's negligence. And for someone like Durk, the dangers were amplified as the hours dragged on. During his first night, the reality of his situation began to sink in. He wasn't just another inmate. He was a high-profile figure whose fame could make him a target for violence or exploitation. Every glance from a fellow inmate, every sound in the darkened halls, it all carried an edge of uncertainty. Durk's supporters took to social media to share messages of encouragement. An Instagram user at 900barre posted about a phone call with the rapper, assuring fans that Durk was staying strong. But behind the bravado There was no denying the precariousness of his situation. "I'm holding up, bro," he reportedly said during the call. "Just trying to stay focused and keep my head up." Yet even in those words, there was a sense of the gravity of his predicament. Durk wasn't just fighting to survive the system, he was fighting to hold on to everything he'd worked for. Durk's first night in prison wasn't just a personal battle. It was the beginning of a public unraveling. The charges against him painted a picture of a man still entangled in the very world he had claimed to be leaving behind, according to an affidavit from the FBI. The murder-for-hire plot was meticulously planned. Witnesses claimed that flight tickets for the alleged hitman were purchased using credit cards linked to Durk's OTF collective. The accusations weren't just about violence. They were about premeditation and power for a rapper who had built a career on authenticity. The allegations cut deep. Durk's music often reflected the harsh realities of street life. But now those lyrics were being scrutinized as potential evidence of a darker truth. The streets were watching and opinions were divided. Some saw Durk's actions as a justified retaliation for King Von's death, while others saw them as a tragic failure to break free from the cycle of violence. As dawn broke on his first morning in jail, the questions looming over Lil Durk's future were impossible to ignore. Could he survive the dangers of Broward County's notorious jail system? Would he be able to clear his name and reclaim his reputation? Or was this the beginning of the end for a man who had risen from Chicago's South Side to become one of hip-hop's brightest stars? The legal challenges facing Lil Durk's arrest wasn't just a blow to his music career. It marked the beginning of a complex and dangerous legal battle that could define the rest of his life. Behind the headlines of his incarceration lies an intricate web of accusations, evidence, and potential consequences, painting a harrowing picture of what's ahead for the Chicago rapper. As the details unfold, one thing is clear. Lil Durk is facing one of the most challenging fights of his life and every aspect of his world. His freedom, his reputation, and his legacy is at stake. At the heart of the legal case against Lil Durk, born Durk Banks, is a federal charge of conspiracy to use interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, resulting in death. Federal prosecutors accuse him of orchestrating a murder-for-hire plot targeting a rival rapper, Quando Rondo, referred to in court documents as TB. The feud dates back to 2020, when King Von Durk's close friend and fellow OTF member was killed in a violent altercation involving Quando Rondo and his associates. According to the indictment, Durk didn't let the matter rest. Instead, prosecutors allege he sought revenge by placing a bounty on QU Rondo's life. The alleged plan unfolded in August 2022, when a group of hitmen reportedly financed by Durk and his OTF crew traveled to Los Angeles to track and kill Quando Rondo using flights, rental cars, and ski masks. The team meticulously followed their target. The mission ended in tragedy when Lou Pab, a family member of Quando Rondo, was shot and killed during the attack at a Beverly Boulevard gas station. The prosecution's case is supported by a trove of evidence, much of it painstakingly pieced together through surveillance footage, financial records, and witness testimony. Financial records court documents reveal that credit cards linked to Durk and OTF were used to purchase one-way flights for the alleged hitman, as well as hotel rooms and rental vehicles. Text messages in a key piece of evidence. A text allegedly sent from Durk's phone to an OTF associate reads, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." Prosecutors argue this demonstrates an attempt to obscure his connection to the plot. Surveillance footage video evidence reportedly shows the suspects trailing TB's vehicle across Los Angeles in two separate cars. Culminating in the fatal shooting. Witness statements. Several witnesses have come forward, though their identities remain protected due to safety concerns. Their testimonies allegedly confirm Durk's involvement as the orchestrator of the plan. The indictment also names 5 co-conspirators who were allegedly recruited to execute the plot. Each has been charged alongside Durk, adding further layers to an already complex case. At the center of this legal battle is Durk's WAP collective, Only the Family OTF, while OTF has been Durk's artistic vehicle, providing a platform for up-and-coming Chicago talent prosecutors argue it also operates as a gang engaged in violent crimes. The duality of OTF, a music label with deep ties to street culture, has always been part of its mystique. But in the eyes of the law, this connection now represents a liability. Prosecutors allege that OTF's resources were used to fund the murder, for hire plot from travel arrangements to the acquisition of weapons. For Durk, this claim strikes at the heart of his efforts to rebrand. Himself as more than just a street rapper over the years, he's worked to position himself as a philanthropist, IST, and role model, launching initiatives like the Neighborhood Heroes Foundation and collaborating with political leaders to support Chicago's youth. Now, those efforts risk being overshadowed by the darker accusations. The charges against Durk carry the potential for life-altering consequences if convicted of conspiracy to commit murder. For hire, he faces significant prison time, possibly life without parole. Additional charges related to the use of firearms in furtherance of a violent crime carry mandatory minimum sentences beyond the legal penalties. Durk also risks losing his assets. Prosecutors are seeking forfeiture of any property connected to the alleged crimes, including cash vehicles and possibly even royalties from his music. For a man who has risen from the struggles of Chicago's South Side to become a global star, the stakes couldn't be higher. Durk's legal team faces a daunting challenge as they prepare to counter the prosecution's narrative. Their strategy will likely focus on several key areas questioning the evidence. The defense may argue that the prosecution's case relies heavily on circumstantial evidence and unverifiable witness accounts, challenging witness credibility. Given the anonymity of the witnesses, the defense could raise doubts about their motivations and reliability. Disputing intent, Durk's lawyers may contend that his financial connections to OTF do not necessarily—
He said, Jam, get out that jam, I'll give him 50, he ain't gotta ask again, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't gotta ask shit, bro. He said he gave you 50, bro. You know what I'm saying? Facts.
However, reports now suggest that Jam began cooperating with federal agents shortly after his release, collecting damning evidence against his former ally. This betrayal is particularly poignant, giving Jam's history with Lil Durk and OTF. The group, formed in 2010, was more than just a rap collective. It was a family forged in the crucible of Chicago's drill music scene. However, as authorities allege, OTF was more than a music label functioning as a hybrid organization with ties to criminal activity. Lil Durk's music has often been lauded for its raw honesty, chronicling the struggles and triumphs of his life in hindsight. Some of his lyrics seem to foreshadow the betrayal that would later engulf him. Tracks like Pell Coat resonate differently. Now, with fans speculating that Durk was alluding to internal conflicts and the dangers of misplaced trust within his circle, the rapper's heightened awareness of looming betrayal was evident even before his arrest. Reports of Lil Durk attempting to flee before police arrived suggest he suspected trouble. These events, combined with past incidents such as the 2021 home invasion at his Brazelton, Georgia, residence, paint a picture of a man increasingly wary of his surroundings. The L's paranoia was not unfounded. During a 2022 interview, he recounted a chilling encounter where someone unexpectedly showed up at his house, raising questions about who within his inner circle might have been feeding information to outsiders. This incident, coupled with the betrayal by Jam, highlights the precarious balance between fame, trust, and survival in the rap industry, even before the betrayal was publicly revealed. Mogul 50 Cent had offered Durk some sage advice in an interview with The Breakfast Club. 50 Cent recounted a conversation he had with Durk after their collaboration on the theme song for Power Book Force. "You just have to watch them," 50 Cent Warren, reflecting on his own experiences with entourages and the treacherous nature of trust in the industry. The parallels between 50 Cent's past and Lil Durk's present are striking. Both artists have navigated the complexities of fame while dealing with entourages that sometimes harbor hidden agendas. "If you got pulled over and you're not in jail, why are you not in jail?" 50 joked, underscoring the importance of questioning loyalties within one's crew. Unfortunately, 50 Cent's prophetic warning came too late to prevent the betrayal that would soon unfold for Lil Durk. The advice serves as a bitter reminder of the vigilance required to navigate the intersection of music and street life. OTF Jam's alleged role as an informant has become a focal point of the indictment against Lil Durk. Reports claim that Jam provided federal agents with insider details about OT's operations, from the financial logistics of criminal activities to the coordination of violent acts. According to court documents, Jam's cooperation was instrumental in piecing together a timeline of events leading to the alleged murder for hire plot targeting. T.I. and Rondo Bowman. The indictment alleges that Lil Durk, referred to as co-conspirator, used coded language to orchestrate the plot, with Jam's recordings providing critical evidence. Jam's betrayal is all the more striking given his history with OTF interviews, which reveal that he once spoke fondly of Lil Durk's support during his incarceration, describing their bond as unshakable. However, this loyalty seems to have unraveled with personal grievances such as perceived neglect by Lil Durk potentially contributing to Jam's decision to cooperate with authorities. The betrayal has sparked heated debates within the hip-hop community. Chicago. Rapper King Yella, industry veteran Wack 100, and DJ Academics are among those who have weighed in on the controversy. Many have speculated on the motivations behind Jam's cooperation, with some suggesting it stemmed from financial or personal grievances. Wack 100 in particular has been vocal about the dynamics at play, questioning how loyalty can erode in high-stakes environments. Meanwhile, DJ Academics has delved into the specifics of the case, probing the possibility that Jam's actions were a calculated response to being overlooked or undervalued by Lil Durk. This division within the community highlights the broader challenges faced by artists who straddled the worlds of music and street credibility. The line between loyalty and betrayal is often blurred, leaving artists vulnerable to the shifting dynamics of their entourages. The indictment against Lil Durk paints a damning picture of OT's alleged activities. Prosecutors have described the collective as a hybrid organization, blending elements of a legitimate music label with the operations of a criminal gang. Key pieces of evidence reportedly supplied by the informant include details about financial transactions, travel arrangements, and communications related to the alleged murder for high plot. The indictment also highlights overt acts such as the procurement of firearms and the coordination of movements between locations, all of which were reportedly orchestrated with Jam's cooperation for Lil Durk. The legal battle ahead is as much about clearing his name as it is about confronting the betrayal that facilitated his arrest. The case serves as a stark reminder of the risks inherent in maintaining ties to street culture while pursuing mainstream success. The betrayal by OTF Jam has left an indelible mark on Lil Durk's career and the legacy of OTF, once celebrated as a symbol of unity and resilience within Chicago's drill scene. The collective is now grappling with accusations of criminal activity and internal discord. What Durk's arrest means for drill rap drill music, once the roaring voice of Chicago streets in a genre that shook the foundations of hip-hop, now faces an uncertain future. Lil Durk's arrest on federal murder for hire charges has thrown the genre's stability into question, potentially marking a defining moment in its decline for a subgenre born from raw authenticity, violence, and survival. The legal woes of its last mainstream giant could signify the end of an era. This isn't just about one artist. It's about the ripple effects of losing a figurehead who embodied drill's rise to the top. Lil Durk hand pioneers, like Chief Keef carry drill from Chicago's neighborhoods to global prominence. But as the legal challenges against him mount, the very fabric of drill rap hangs in the balance. Drill rap emerged in Chicago around 2010, spearheaded by artists like Chief Keef and Lil Durk. With its raw, visceral energy, the genre gave voice to the harsh realities of life in the city's most dangerous neighborhoods. It wasn't just music. It was a survival story. Chief Keef's I Don't Like, setting the tone in 2012, blending pounding beats with unapologetic lyrics that captured the rage and resilience of Chicago's youth. Durk and others expanded the genre's reach, adding emotional depth and storytelling to drill's aggressive sound. From its Chicago roots, drill began to evolve. The UK embraced it, crafting a grittier version characterized by darker beats and intricate wordplay. Brooklyn drill emerged later, fusing the genre with New York's hustle and swagger. By the late 2010 S-drill was no longer a local phenomenon. It was a global movement, but with expansion came challenges. The genre's associations with street violence drew criticism and scrutiny. The deaths of prominent drill artists like Pop Smoke, FBG, Duck, and King Va underscored the dangers tied to the lifestyle the music often reflected. For many, Lil Durk represented drill's last mainstream torchbearer. His ability to navigate the treacherous waters of fame and authenticity made him a unique figure in hip-hop. But his arrest in October 2024 on murder for hire charges, targeting Quando Rondo, has cast a dark shadow over the genre he helped to find. Durk's legal troubles come at a time when drill rap is already showing signs of decline. Brooklyn drill has been stifled by legal battles involving artists like Chef G, Sleepy Hollow, and K-Flock in Chicago. Many of the genre's pioneers have either left music behind or faced their own legal challenges. Lil BBY transitioned to a music executive, while G Herbo's career has been interrupted by legal woes, without Lil Durk drill losing one of its most prominent figures. A man whose music resonated far beyond Chicago's borders, his absence leaves a void that few, if any, are positioned to fill. Even before Durk's arrest, drill rap was undergoing a transformation. The gritty, violent narratives that defined the genre's early years have started to give way to softer, more commercial interpretations. Artists like Ice Spice have introduced a lighter take on the genre, dubbed sexy drill, which replaces the menacing themes of traditional drill with playful, flirtatious lyrics. Tracks like Munch Feeling You showcase